Hey everyone, how is everybody doing tonight? I'm just going to wait for the video to catch up. Make sure you guys can see me and hear me, and I'm not talking to myself. Awesome. Billy! Thank you. So I figure probably everybody is out celebrating St. Patty's Day, so I don't know if anybody's going to actually kind of come and hang out tonight. If not, that's okay. I'm just going to say hello to you guys. Hey, Kev. Hey, KP. Prepping artists, no problem. Have a good night. Hey, Michigan. How you doing? Share Bear. May showers must be more and nothing but happiness come through you. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. All right, have a great night, Share Bear. Thanks for popping in. Hey, Roll 2, I see. So how are you guys doing tonight? Anybody go out and celebrate for St. Patty's Day? Did you all eat lots of corned beef and cabbage? Nobody in my house will eat it, so I can't make it. Otherwise, I'll be eating it all by myself. So I skip it. Not that it's too salty for me anyway. Nope. No corned beef and cabbage for you. Nobody eats it there. The way you said that, you were kind of like, no. All right, sorry, I'm just reading up. So tonight I figured we could definitely go over some bad coping skills that are oh, hey, Casey. Yeah, no, see, I like it. Um, I like it, except I don't like the salt. And I've never really been able to make it myself where it doesn't really taste just like salt. So I'm not going to go out and order for myself, though. Then my feet blow up. It's terrible. But anyway, I figured tonight we could go over some things, some bad coping skills that people tend to do when to deal with different types of things like stress, panic, anxiety, and these things are. I figured let's bring it to the light so people know if people know they can kind of like say like, hey, oh, I'm doing this. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should change that to something a little more healthy. Been okay last night. Late last night panic is like, oh no, oh, I'm so sorry. I know you had gone through a lot of stuff with your kids and stuff, with your family. And I know that can be very traumatic and can definitely set off stuff. Have you spoken to anybody? Or at least, told people, maybe what. I mean, as I said, you're always welcome to do it here, but if you don't want to, don't want to share with publicly, I'm hoping that you are talking to somebody who may be able to get you through it. So yeah, well, we're definitely sending you prayers, Michigan. So there's a lot of bad coping skills out there. So I said, you know what? Let's talk about them, and this way, if like I said, if you're doing them, you might be like say, okay, this is probably not healthy. So There's the big ones that people know all about, drugs and alcohol. Of course, most people drink some sort of form of alcohol as long as you're not overdoing it. It's fine, but anything to excess is bad, especially alcohol. Hey, Rick. Fear, anxiety, sadness, guilt, all those kinds of feelings can be really hard to deal with in men PTSD. It's horrible, and I think it's getting worse. And this world is making it so it's catering to those people, and it's just a snowball effect. They've made it so you can hide in your house and not do anything and face the world, and it's really bad for people's mental health. Hey, Kelly, you made it. How's Rambo doing with his shoulder? So so drugs and alcohol, big one. Eating, overeating, or not eating at all is big ones. I have notes, so I'm reading notes. So and I didn't put it in any order, so I'm trying to kind of put it in order as I'm reading it. So just bear with me. People can be a big one. Having that person that you are relying on too much, somebody who is, um, basically your crutch, is not a healthy thing. And I don't want anybody to think I'm judging or telling anything. I have a lot of these unhealthy coping mechanisms myself, and they are very hard to break. But they say admitting it is the first problem, right? So, and one of the things I rely, I think, on my husband a little too much. He is my crutch. And I think sometimes he tries to let me do my own thing, and I don't like it. I just told my wife when I'm pacing the house like a madman that we're gonna stick me on pharmaceuticals, but I don't go that route, just coping. All right, well, maybe we can get you some coping mechanisms. I mean, medication definitely isn't for everybody. I know it does help some people. I am not a fan of medication myself, but that's me. Some people, use it. I have been on medication. I don't like it. So I can weigh both options. When you're pacing, try to talk to yourself. As I said, what I think yours is a little bit more. I think it's coming from more of a, just from what you have said online. I think it's a little bit more. So I think you would be better talking to somebody who would deal with something like that. But if it's just panic, the deep breathing, the talking to yourself, holding. I remember you saying holding your baby count helps a lot. So I don't know if there's anything else that you do that might help you. There's a lot of things I can't do, Kev. I love that you say that, but I am not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. So anybody who may be watching this on the replay or tonight at all, just know I'm not a doctor, and there's things that I can help with. Sometimes helping and chatting and finding out other people's coping mechanisms, healthy ones, will work for them. And then there's certain things, like the next thing I'm going to go over. I cannot help with this. This is something you definitely would want to talk to a professional about. But any kind of self mutilation, self harm, like cutting, burning, pulling your hair out, anything that's physically hurting you, that's huge, and that is definitely something you would want to talk to somebody about, and sooner rather than later, because it's I let's just say I've been there. Hey, Teresa, driving home from shopping. I'm just guessing. Uh, Negative thoughts. Hey, little lone prepper. It's also a unhealthy coping mechanism, and I'm just going to kind of give you an example of this. Some people strive on, or strive? That's not the right word. Thrive. They thrive on negative thoughts. It's almost like an OCD thing where if you're not having those negative thoughts, something bad is going to happen. And I don't know if there is a name for something like this. I just know it because, like I said, I've been there. So if you don't believe, if you don't always think the worst and you try to be positive, then something bad is going to happen. So that's kind of like an example of like negative thoughts being a really bad coping skill, very unhealthy. And I'm sure there's other things that go with it. But like I said, I don't know a technical term for that. A quick stop at Walmart. Awesome. What do they play? I work out CBD gummies. I'm not sure. That's okay. You know what? Placebo effect is great. Working out is great. Um, Working out though is usually more of a long-term solution. Like it's going to help you not have them in the future, which is awesome. But when you are physically having one, does it help you? I mean, do you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and work out? Oh, very cool. Teresa, you probably can't see the. Yeah, same with me, Kelly. Totally the same. I cannot do any kind of CBD. And again, you know what? That comes just from smoking back in the day. And I know that CBD oil doesn't get you high, but it's, again, probably the placebo effect. And it just makes me more anxious. So I'm right there with you. Which, but and another thing, I do have. I do have something to redirect my brain thoughts. Okay, that's good. I'm hoping it's a healthy thing. But anything in, like when you said exercise, anything that's overdone is not good. Hey, PJ, it's great to see you. Anything, even working out, can be an unhealthy coping and mechanism skill if you do it too often, too much. There is such a thing as overdoing it. I was actually watching this one guy, and he was just like on a documentary TV show, something, and he had to do it twice a day. And he was kind of like forced to do it twice a day, and it was just, and if he didn't do it, there was something, he felt wrong and something. So you can really get addicted to anything, and that's just kind of trading one bad thing for another. Isolation, um, kind of just withdrawing, uh, not talking to the people you used to, friends, family, kind of hiding away from the world. Really, not a good way to solve things, which is kind of like avoidance. But there can be a little bit more to the avoidance. You can just avoid anything that's not positive. I don't like that. That might not make me feel good, so I am going to not uh, just not deal with it. Now, I don't know how to answer that, Earl, too, I see, because I mean, I have to say that that's the one addiction that's awesome. I mean, it's the only one in the world that's acceptable. You're funny. Hey, Kane, just jumping on a hit like I'm cool as a cucumber, I said, so never anxious. Oh, that's awesome. Really good to hear. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Uh, Smoking. Smoking's, cigarettes. A lot of people do it. A lot of people do it when they're stressed. Clearly, we all know uh, the unbeneficiary healths. Hey, salty dog, where you been? But okay, thanks for stopping in. I was thinking about you the other day. I was wondering where you went to. Right? I wish I could be the same. I'm right there with you. Sleeping, oversleeping, not sleeping at all, both, bad. I tend to oversleep. I get very tired. My brain wants to shut off when I get anxious or when I get depressed. My brain just wants to shut off, and the best way I feel like I deal with it is just to go to sleep and kind of forget about it. Really unhealthy. Just doing the things. Yeah, that's great. Glad to hear it. What else do I have? I'm kind of you got gambling, another one that most people know about. Just it's people are looking for that we call it dopamine hit to their brain. Hey, Daryl, do I have the right word? Dopamine. I could I get all these medical terms confused, and I forget what they were, but they're getting that hit, and the not even the winning, just even walking in there and seeing the lights, you get that rush. I'm not a gambler, so it's one of the things I can't ever say I know anything about. I don't know any kind of addiction to gambling. I don't like to see my money go in and not come back out. Hey, Irishman, happy your day. But I know it can be very, I worked with a couple of women who would go every day gamble on their lunch break. Really, really a bad coping skill. Uh, Impulse spending. Yeah, this one I'm seriously guilty of. Um, I've been working on it. So, they say that admitting the problem is the first step. Hopefully, that takes care of half of the problem, and I can work on. I've been much much better. That I can say, because I've been working on it myself. Um, which I think is what they actually call part of that is called passive coping, if I'm not mistaken. And it's getting like a temporary relief. So getting that like dopamine hit again, if I have the right word. Binge watching a show, sitting around all day, and I mean, we all have days like that. I yeah, same, Billy. I do not want to go in there and be like, hey, that's okay. I see, because people go in there with that mindset of, all right, I got $200 I can lose. I don't want to lose $200. That's insane to me. I don't want to lose $20. I actually went once because it was kind of like a peer pressure thing, and I went once in there, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll go in there because you don't know it's so fun. It's you just consider it like a night out, and if you consider it like that instead of going to a movie, I'm like, all right, hey, I'll come see what it is about. I ended up leaving there like minus $18, and I still want my $18 back. So yeah, gambling is not my thing. Scratch offs and a birthday card is about as far as I go. If I gambled, I couldn't afford my real addiction to eating. Yeah. And that's one of my problems is, yeah, I have a food addiction. I think it's carbs. I have a carb addiction. And lately it's been chocolate, which I haven't had in like years. And all of a sudden I'm like back on the chocolate. It's terrible. I'm 57, but have some Irish. There you go. I'm actually half Irish. Hey, Joy. How you doing? Yeah, I'm actually. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing? Uh, oh, so what was I saying? So yeah, passive coping, binge watching. Um, that I think that's all kind of fits into the same thing, and either way, it's just not really sitting around and binge watching TV shows all day long and not doing other stuff. Again, everybody does certain things sometimes. I've had days where I've sat and done absolutely nothing. Sometimes you need that. I'm talking about the more extreme stuff. The more, you're doing this all the time. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I honestly have no idea. I know my mother was very Irish, but I don't even have anybody to ask anymore. I've been told I'm insane just now, even. Who's calling you insane? See, there you go. It must be Daryl. Gotcha. Well, the men in our lives tend to do that. I mean, he picked you. So, I mean, if you're insane, what does that say about him? At least that's what I tell my husband all the time. When he tells me that, I'm like, hey, you picked me. Overthinking and overanalyzing. It's something else that kind of fits with the negative thoughts, at least in my opinion. Overworking. Overworking is kind of an avoidance tactic, I believe, or I don't know what that means, Joy, of being rooster backed. I'm not sure what that means. Sure he is. He just calls me insane too much. The rule I have is decide if it is out of your control. If it makes no sense, to worry about it. If it is, makes no sense to worry about it. If you have some control over the situation, then you should plan an outcome. That is awesome. That is the best advice I think I've seen. If it's not in your control, don't worry about it. Hey, Scott. Define good. So as you can see, I got no sleep last night, so I am like super exhausted. I woke up every half an hour because it was like so hot in my house and I have no idea why. So I'm exhausted and I'm a little more incoherent than normal tonight. So I think I got everything. But of course, I'm skipping all around. So instead of just going straight down the list, I'm skipping around. And now I have no idea what I've said and what I haven't. Self criticism, that's a big one. But again, it kind of comes with overthinking and such, and blaming yourself for things, or um, or denial, and not dealing with your what your real issues are. So that can be a big hindrance. Ignore it; it'll go away. Or I'm anxious because my baseball team lost, or I'm just I'm not happy at work versus what the real underlining issues are, and you think, or you convince yourself that it's nothing, it's this, when because you don't really want to deal with what the real problems are, what's really causing you panic, anxiousness, or depressiveness. So, like they always say, like there's a real thing. Identifying the problem is the first step in solving it. So if you want to identify your problems, if you want to help solve your problems, identify them first. Right now, I decided that I can paint my van. Right now, I'm 3 days in and I got a little more than half of it sanded. Oh, that's nice. I don't think that's quite what they mean by overworking. I mean, getting a project done is a little bit different than going to work and working, 70 hours a week. I think that's more like more along the lines of what they're talking about. That's all we can do. Do the best we can with what we have. And mindset is a big thing. That's awesome. See, I can't do any of that stuff. I would just put holes in anything if somebody gave me a sander. I'm just seeing if I missed anything. See, did anybody do anything fun today? So I am I'm at the end of my lists, and hey, TT1. Because you forget you're sanding. Because I forget I'm sanding. I could literally forget what I'm doing in the middle, as you can see by how often I lose track of my sentences. Sanding coffee tea. Like, I don't want to know. Scripture says a man that doesn't provide for his family is worse than an unbeliever. Okay. I wish I had one. It would make my life so much easier. Yeah, so I have I'm working on no sleep, as I said. So I'm not even I was actually going to cancel tonight and do it next week. I don't know why I didn't, honestly. Oh, very cool. No, you know what he would do? He would make faces, he would make jokes, he would make me laugh. I wouldn't be able to talk at all. Sometimes he likes to walk by and say stupid things just to screw with me. He's good like that. Oh, that's great. I hope you find a good one. People think that they go to a therapist and they're not happy, it's not working, they give it one or two tries and they're not happy, and they either just quit or they stick with these people who are not helping them. Therapists are somebody you have to connect with, because if you're not connecting with that person and you're not trusting them and you're not feeling like they're going to help you, they're not going to help you. So it's okay to shop around for therapists until you find one. I've had a lot of bad ones, like I said, and I went to the ones that specialized in anxiety because that was the base of my problems. So if kind of like where you're needing the most, is maybe see if you can find somebody who specializes in that. And I definitely like the people, but just my opinion. Again, everybody's got their own opinion. I'm not trying to sway you either way, but I don't, psychiatrists to me are a little too out there, and they're very, pill pushing. I don't like that. That is not for me. If if that's what you need, by all means, but see if you can find somebody who specializes in whatever it is that you may be looking for. That's the best advice I can give you. But definitely shop around. People always think like, oh, therapist didn't help me. I'm like, well, no, you just didn't find the right one. When you find the right one, when you find somebody you can talk to, and the woman that I ended up talking to, it was great because it was like we were sitting, her office looked kind of like almost like a living room, like a comfy living room. And she had her feet up. We both had a recliner, and we both, put our feet up with the recliner and laid back and just kind of talked. And it was, she was a professional. She knew what she was doing. She was what was she? Not she was a psychologist. No, I'm lying. I don't think she was. Maybe she might have just been a licensed therapist. I'm not sure what she was. Whatever it was, she was licensed. She wasn't like just a life coach, because I don't even think they existed back then. But it was like sitting in a living room and just chatting. And this woman was wonderful. And since she'd been through so much stuff, she was the one who helped me. She was the one who got me through everything and uh, let me be functionable in my own life again. But yeah, I get people get so discouraged when they find the wrong one. I'm like, no, you just didn't find the right one. Oh, it's paint. Okay. So I think I'm actually going to, hey, CUC. I think I'm actually going to shut this one down a little early tonight. Again, I'm exhausted. I haven't eaten dinner yet. And I think most people are probably out enjoying corned beef and cabbage tonight and celebrating the Irish, because, everybody's Irish today. So if nobody has any other questions or comments. All right. So just remember, if anybody just needs to chat, I am always willing to give my email. And if you need more help than that, like I said, I'm not a doctor. So if you ever need help, either, you can always go to your emergency room or the crisis hotline, 988. You can always call that number. And do that before you do anything else that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So you guys all have a wonderful night, and I'm sure I'll see you all soon in other chats. Good night.